Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today, of course, the ongoing battle with the state of California and Donald Trump, of course, which is the main theme of it all. But nonetheless, you guys are probably aware now that Newsom has signed a mask ban in California so that ICE enforcement will have to remove their masks. But of course, we already know this is an absurd action by Gavin Newsom and really technically would not fall in line with the Constitution. But we're going to get into that because, of course, we know that the whole purpose of this, for several reasons, one, that is to defy Donald Trump at all cost, to impede and interfere the operational security of ICE, and, of course, to undermine them, as well as to discourage them from conducting these operations. But we'll get into more of the specific details because I know you guys are already thinking about, well, why would he do this in the first place, which we kind of answered just now. And then, of course, just kind of an overview of it all. But as we can see here from ground news, California bans most law enforcement officers from wearing masks during operations. And, of course, we can see the bias distribution here. It is a massive story because this is the establishment, this is the Democrats and the media at war with Donald Trump. And this is their battleground. They have found a way to make it a point on this issue to continue to battle Donald Trump. So we see here, Newsom signs anti-ICE bill banning federal law enforcement from wearing masks. So Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a series of bills on Saturday banning masking statewide as part of a concentrated effort to bar immigration and customs enforcement agents from concealing their identities during raids. Now, of course, we know it's just to stop them entirely, but we press on. The 5 bills Newsom signed into law Saturday make California the first state in the nation to prohibit federal law enforcement officers, including ICE, from hiding their identities, according to a press release from his office. Now, this is the first step in the war to try to gain a footing and maybe pass this on to other states, but this, of course, will fail. The anti-ICE moves also makes it less likely that federal immigration enforcement officers target children in classrooms and patients in hospitals, the statement continued. That has nothing to do with the unmasking. It's absolutely ridiculous. That was just thrown in there as a framing tool. All right, guys, sorry about that. We had a bit of a software snafu again, so we're back on OBS. We will continue from where we left off. Under the new legislation, law and immigration enforcement officers must remain identifiable by name or badge number, and masks are not to be worn except when absolutely necessary, which will be most, if not all the time, because these individuals work in different agencies, and their identity must be concealed because they also work undercover. Newsom's office did not say how they would enforce such a rule against a federal agency, though they did talk at length about how they oppose ICE's recent actions. Of course, because this isn't about addressing a legal problem. This isn't about, like we saw with when it came to lawfare with Donald Trump. It isn't about justice. It isn't about the rule of law. It is about defying Donald Trump and slowing him down and stopping him. Or at least, well, slowing him down. They can't actually stop him, but to slow him down and make it as difficult as possible. They want to impede operational security of the ICE agents and also, discourage them from doing law enforcement. It's absolutely absurd. ICE agents have wrongfully arrested citizens, concealed their identities, and undermined transparency, the statement adds. The dismantled rules that once kept enforcement away from schools, hospitals, and churches, fueling student absences and eroding community trust. Now, see, this is all of the kind of cause and effect on their part. Like, look at us doing this for you, our constituents. But the reality is, of course, they don't want their constituents, which are comprised of activists and criminals, to turn on them. So it's not too unusual that would be happening. Now, of course, some of the questions that most people had, which were very obvious, as in, how would Gavin Newsom be able to do this? Well, he actually can't do it, and he knows he can't. What he can do is present legal challenges when ICE does not comply. But as you saw in the article, when it's absolutely necessary. And this will be the fine lines because they know they can't do it. Because, of course, we have the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution establishes that federal law takes precedence over conflicting state laws. When a state law or action interferes with federal law or federal operations, the federal government can preempt that state's action or declare it invalid. And we know this already. ICE, Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement, is exactly that. They operate all over the United States to remove illegal aliens. It's not that difficult to understand. But The Democrats don't want it to happen because, of course, they're the ones who allowed all these individuals to come in here in the first place. And it can be argued, though speculated, though we talk about it here on the BuzWeaver channel, that they were here, of course, to also be distributed so that the Democrats could potentially get additional seats and or even get additional electoral votes. So there is a plan behind it. But, of course, I know you guys are very shrewd. You guys are very aware. And of course, ask the very question. So why would this happen? As a guildmate asked me as well. And so I figured I would turn to my crack staff, which is also known as ChatGPT, as to why this would happen. Newsom's move to remove ICE masks. Now, of course, I've already outlined the typical template that we use here, but political theater. He may want to be seen as standing up to Trump and federal immigration enforcement. So there you have it. Even ChatGPT agrees. So now I know I've hired the right people. A legal gambit. It could be a way to provoke a lawsuit under Supremacy Clause, essentially daring the feds to challenge California law in court, where Newsom might argue states have rights and policies, how federal agents operate locally. No, actually what's going to happen, and I'm not saying I know what's going to happen, I'm just saying the possibility here is yet another legal challenge for Trump, where they basically just issue a challenge so that the the Supremacy Clause has to be read and then defined, because the Democrats have to look like they're doing something, right? And of course, we already know about risk of doxing. Practically removing the anonymity for ICE agents does increase the risk that activists or hostile groups could identify, harass, and dox them. This would compromise their safety and could discourage enforcement actions, which is what we just said. It is to effect operational security and to discourage enforcement actions. And this was what we just were saying earlier. And so it's interesting to see. Now, if you live in California, you're welcome to comment down in the comment section if you would like. But, of course, many of you, I notice, sometimes don't like to comment because of potential reactions or retaliation. But I don't want you guys to feel threatened in that way, because you can always just hit like a thumbs up or other things like that. But I totally understand why a lot of people don't comment from time to time, especially on very sensitive topics. But let's move on to some of the video clips here I have for you guys. And, of course, because of the various little changes I had to make, we'll go ahead and it looks like I lost the one for Gavin Newsom. Well, it's actually right here. Here we go.
I'll be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
And here's what the acting U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Asaley, said. The state of California has no jurisdiction of the federal government. If Newsom wants to regulate our agents, he must go through Congress. I've directed our federal agencies that the law signed today has no effect on our operations. Our agents will continue to protect their identities. When can we expect California to pass a law banning Antifa members from wearing masks while committing state and federal crimes?
Yeah, a very valid question, right? I mean, because this works both ways. But this is what we've always talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel. They like to pretend that everyone's dumber than they are. And because everyone, or as they perceive everyone as dumb as they are, they can just say these things and you're just supposed to believe them. Yeah, I think I have this as an additional clip here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this.
The LA County Board of Supervisors approved a motion that could eventually prevent federal agents from wearing masks in parts of the county.
Motion carries.
It now goes to county attorneys to draft up a rule to be voted on.
If you're going to come into LA County and interact with our public, they have a right to know who you are.
Bus to go to work.
Supervisor Janice Hahn spearheaded the effort. One of her biggest concerns, public safety.
We're having problems with imposters. So if everybody is wearing a mask, we do have criminals who are out there who are, could dress up.
I think it's funny that they want to make this argument about criminals doing it. Well, if you see it happen, then why aren't you calling the police, right? We see this every day, especially here on X. These individuals that are out there, recording the legitimate ICE, capturing people. I don't know if there's an illegitimate ICE, but you know what I mean when she's talking about these criminals out there grabbing people up. But obviously, the ICE agents aren't entirely disguised as just some random group of people wearing generic, civilian clothing. They are in their full kit or in their full gear. So there isn't a mystery here, and there's a lot of them. And so all you'd have to do is, like I always tell them here on X, well, then call the police. If you're witnessing a crime, why are you recording it? Why aren't you calling the police and reporting a crime? But, of course, they know they're real ICE agents, and this is just the argument. They're trying to play this game. And as I said, they're going to try to make legal challenges of the Supremacy Clause. And then, of course, it's just to give the constituents the knowledge that they are doing something. And it's really kind of pathetic and it's really kind of sad. But this was very important, too. Border Czar Tom Homan responds to what Los Angeles is doing.
We're honored to have a few minutes here with Border Czar Tom Homan. Tom, thank you so much for being here with us. I want to get your opinion on something that just came out of LA County. Its Board of Supervisors just voted unanimously to draft a new ordinance prohibiting immigration officers and federal agents from wearing masks when doing their jobs, except for carrying out any sort of medical procedures. What's your reaction to this?
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Did they propose any sort of rule on unmasking Antifa? Or unmasking the protesters that turned violent in LA, that attacked our ICE officers, assaulted ICE officers, that destroyed millions of dollars in federal property, that attacked LAPD and the LA County sheriffs? How about the man that threw a Molotov cocktail on the officers, which is
right? And he goes on to outline what all of us here on the BuzWeaver channel have said and have known about for quite some time, is that this is very selective maneuvering by the Democrats, and this is another reason why they lost in 2024, because everyday average American citizens out there already can see what the Democrats are doing, what the establishment was doing, and we can see exactly what they're doing in California. This is a very dangerous play. This is a showdown for Gavin. This is all staging for them. They like this. They like the stage. They like the argumentation. It's just like when they go to the Senate committee hearings. They can go there and they can shout and yell, and they can get their constituents to feel important and empowered, that their leadership are out there doing something for them. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to outline that for you guys. But I do welcome your thoughts and comments down below. And, of course, below this, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include X, and, of course, my affiliate marketing links, as you guys know how those work. But, of course, your likes, your shares, and your comments help out the channel tremendously. Even if you just want to leave an emoji in the comment, all these kind of things are now with the new YouTube satisfaction. Now, as far as the software, I'm going to be working on that. I've got to upgrade this unit to Windows 11. I don't know if it's going to fix that problem, but it is very annoying. But we had to go over to OBS as my backup. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. Appearing there on the screen, that's going to be the channel icon for all of you watching on YouTube, of course. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.